Hi everyone, it's Kathy Maxon. Today I'm going to show you how to make this new flower petal fold. This new flower I just made. We are actually going to be using white or cream color, but this is the one my little prototype. I saw a new fold from Michelle at Monkey's Creation, so I saw a new fold, so I wanted to show you guys the new fold. This is going to be a little mini wreath. We're going to be using Dollar Tree products. So this measures, it's about 12 inches. So it's like 12 inches in diameter. We used 12 petals. And what we used was shelf liner. So we used the shelf liner from Dollar Tree. This is a cream color. As you can see against the white, it's cream. We are going to use the 8-inch wreath form, the wreath ring, that is also from Dollar Tree. Comes in a 2-pack. I used the one already for the purple. The only thing that you're gonna need for the centers is plastic canvas. So you're gonna need it. We're going to fill the center so we'll have places to put the petals. We're going to need our zip ties. Oh, and what I'm going to use on the center for this one, I'm going to have to do them really close to the center though, is we're going to use this pine cone. So I believe this used to be the bottom of the pine cone because this was the top and we cut some off. So I've got some floral wire. So I'm going to try to wire it through the bottom and we'll try to put that in and use that as our center. So wish us luck. So you're going to need at least 3 rolls of the shelf liner. Any color you want. The purple is also shelf liner. So this was also shelf liner. If you're lucky enough to get some colored ones, I have a minimal stash. Places I have gotten it from was Dollar Tree, Big Lots, CVS even had some. Some of them are thicker. This is the really thin shelf liner. So this fold will be so much easier with the thinner shelf liner. So we're going to need zip ties. I got my 4-inch zip ties and I also got my 10-inch zip ties. We're going to need our mat board. We're going to need our rotary cutter. We're going to need scissors. We're going to need pliers. We're going to need clippers. You're going to need a marker, a straight edge. If you have a yardstick, this is just actually a quilter's like ruler. And if you didn't want to use, like the purple, I did a flower in the center. You can always use a styrofoam ball. So this, I believe you also can get at the Dollar Tree. It's a 2.8 inch. So my husband cut it in half for me, and see from this will cover it up really nice. So whatever cording or roping that you would like to put on there, you can go ahead and use this 2.8 inch form. So let's get cutting and let's show you the fold. So I already have one open. So our shelf liner is 12 inches in diameter, or in length, width. So I already have a whole mess folded. Like I said, we're going to need 12. So I'm going to cut 2 and I'm going to show you the fold. So since it's 12 inches tall, we're going to cut it 12 inches wide. So we want a square. This will also work with mesh. You can do 21-inch mesh. You're just going to cut it however, whatever the width is, that is how long you're going to cut it. So you want a complete square. So I'm cutting it at the 12. So there I got the 2 pieces cut. We're going to set this aside. I'm actually going to get my plastic canvas up because we need to attach that, because we're going to need to attach that right away and use that. So what I'm going to do is I got my handy dandy marker, and all you're going to do is I'm going to draw around this inside ring. So the Dollar Tree ring, the 8 inches, only have 3 wires. We are only going to be using the inside wire, and then we're going to use the middle of the canvas. Those are the only 2 places we're going to be putting petals. So we're just going to cut this circle out, and we're going to attach it to the center of the wreath form. Set that aside. Use our 4-inch zip ties. I think I'm going to, because you may want to, if you're going to use the cream colored shelf liner, I think I'm going to try to get this marker off, and I guess the marker won't come off. I didn't think about the marker showing. I didn't want the marker to show through the white. So I just trying to rub it off with a little bit of water that I have next to me. So, guess I didn't think about that. The purple one, it didn't matter because the purple wasn't gonna show the marker. Okay, that looks pretty clean. Water off the table. So then what we're going to do is we're going to attach it in like 4 places. You can use whatever size zip ties you have handy, but if you are going to use the cream shelf liner, that seems to be about the most popular color that's only ever available at my Dollar Tree. So I picked some up because I kind of wanted this to look like maybe a magnolia. I was going to show you a different petal fold. That was my plan, is why I bought the shelf liner, was to make a magnolia flower. But I was just going to use a basic petal fold that I've shown to you in the past. But then when I just saw this petal fold, I'm like, that's perfect, because I didn't think a magnolia really had pointy tops. I mean, that even kind of looks like a pansy. Okay, so I got this, and I'm going to go through and now tighten the center to the wreath form. Okay. Go ahead, we're going to cut our tails off. Okay, so let's set this aside and let's show you the fold. So here's what we cut. We cut it perfect square, 12 by 12. We're going to make it a triangle. I think I went this way because this kind of has a pattern to it, and I kind of just want to keep my pattern the same. So what we're going to do, move it into a triangle. We're going to fold this end up. I'm going to fold it up about 4 inches, give or take, and I'm going to fold this one down. So it comes to about, I think it comes to about 8 inches. So let's see, if it's the 6, it should be around the 14. So it comes to about 8 inches wide. So this is our fold. Then we're going to take the stuff on the right and fold it over to the left. And then what we're going to do, it almost looks like a little envelope. At least that's what I thought of when I saw it. We're going to make these tails match, and then you can kind of see we're going to make, you can see underneath where our fold up was. We're going to kind of make those match as well. We're going to pinch in the middle. So I want to be about, because what we're going to do is we're going to gather along here, and then this is going to be our petal. So I want to make sure when I gather, I want to be just above this edge and just above this edge or to the right, because I want these little scraggly ends. I want to make sure they're to the left of the zip tie, so I want them to not come out of the zip tie. So I'm going to pinch in the middle, and then I'm just going to gather all the way to this side. So I'm going to gather, and you see how I want to make sure I get this corner, because I'm going to put my zip tie like right here. So I want my raw edges there. And then basically then what we're going to do is then just pinch this or gather this up to this side. So now it kind of looks like a little stingray. So I want to make sure, like I said, I want to make sure I get my zip tie. I want to make sure I get those ends in. See, so my ends are right about there. So I'm going to pull that tight. I'm going to clip off my end. So then that is what we have. So then what we're going to do, we're going to put we're going to open up all the way through the inside. So you can get your fingers all the way through. See, you can get your finger all the way through. Because what we're going to do is we're going to gather up a little bit in the back so it will fluff out. So we kind of want it to puff out. So all I'm doing is I opened it up. I wanted to get inside the center. And then I'm going to zip tie in here. So you can see I have this zip tie, and then this is the one that's only going to be on the back piece. So it's going to make it fluffy. See how it kind of makes it poofy? And it gives us our shape that we are looking for. So I'm going to cut this off. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut our tail off. So this is why you want to make sure you have a good tight zip tie there. So that is our petal. This is the back. So this is where we gathered, and then this is where we just have the back side gathered up, so it makes it a little puffy. Let's do that again. So here's our square piece. I'm going to make it into a triangle. We're going to fold this up. We're going to go up about like 4 inches, and then we're going to come down about 4 inches. So we're going to be about 8 inches total. Then we're going to fold this in half. So like I said, it kind of looks like a little envelope. This would be like your flap for your envelope. So that looks like a little envelope. And again, remember, this is going to be where we want to make sure we get to the one side gathered up, because we want these little tails here and these little scragglies here. We're going to want to make sure they're on this side of the zip tie. We're going to pinch in the middle, and we're going to gather to this side. And then even if you wanted, you could start on this side and gather up over this way. But you see how the little corners are right here. They're going to be on this side of the zip tie. Let's get our 4-inch zip tie. Again, if you have 6-inch, if you have 8-inch, that's fine too. So that's where you want to make sure you get a nice good zip there. We're going to cut our little zip tie off, and then that is our petal. So remember, we're going to open up. The shelf liner kind of sticks to itself because it's kind of rubbery. So I was having some kind of problems. And you want to kind of make sure that these ends don't get crinkled up in here. So you kind of want to pull it open, and you see it's going to give us our shape. We're just going to gather a little bit back here and zip tie it. So it almost looks like a little stingray. And I'm only going up maybe an inch, what I gathered in the back. So this is going to be the back side. So there we're going to clip off that, and then we're going to cut off our tail. Because when we're going to do the center, like I said, we're going to really want to make sure I get close to that center. So that's why I'm going to clip them, zip tie them really tight. So let's start putting them on the wreath. So like I said again, I'll need those. I probably don't need the scissors. We're going to use this inner ring. And we're going to be putting 8. So if you really wanted, you could put the 4 in and then just add the other 4. So here I'm going to use my 8-inch, or I think they're 8-inch, 10-inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure I get on both sides of the inner ring. And then when I zip tie, I want my zip tie to be right about at the zip tie I did, maybe even a little above it. My air conditioner popped on, sorry if you hear that. So that is where we're going to put the first one. So you see how it kind of stays puffed up? You can even like go back through and kind of pull it up. Let's do some more. So you always want to make sure that the extra zip tie is the one in the back. So what we can do here, I'll show you here. This is how I did the other one. I just did it across. I did it across from this one. It was just easier for me that way because I was trying to figure out how many petals I was going to need. We can go back and adjust our petals at the end, but there's that. I got some more made. So there's the 4 I got made. So then we're just going to put them in between the other, these next 4 in between those 4. Again, I'm making sure that my zip tie is around that bar. So then what I did on the other one, I just always made sure like that this one laid over top of this one, which then laid over top of this one. So it's kind of like a little domino effect. And I mean, you can kind of get that prepped. You know, this one's going to go over that. So when you go zip tie, they're all going to be in place. Like I said, this is not going to be a very big wreath. It's only about 12 inches in diameter. You know, so this would be, you know, for maybe somebody who's in a nursing home, or, you know, maybe this would actually be a good wreath to put outside, because with the shelf liner, that should not worry about the weather at all. You know, maybe if you have like a little outside patio that you just want like a little bit of a decoration, you know, on your wall. Like I said, I'm just going around. That inside wire. So there's the outside row done. So now my center, so if I put this here, I need to at least be inside this square for my petals. So I put back the ones that I have that are as close as I could get to the zip tie. So that's about where I'm going to put that, and then you'll see we're going to do 4. So like I said, I got to get inside that little square. So that will be about where I want it. Oh, that'll be perfect. So now I just need to zip tie them in place. Let's move these here and here. So this one we want about here. So let's get my zip tie. So I'm just going to do my zip tie. I'm only going to do about 2 squares. Make sure we got the right. Put that back in the center so I kind of make sure I know where I'm at. And then what this petal does, it covers the mechanics of your other petals. That's always the goal when you're doing flower petals, any kind of, you're always wanting to hide your mechanics of what is below it. Okay, so if I do this one right across from it, again, let's get in our little square here. So I need to be about here. Double check that again. I'm just going to do through 2, and again you could just do the 2 across from each other. This one's cut really close to that zip tie, so I want to make sure I get this one right in there as well, nice and close. And then we're going to put this one here. So if I go back to my little square in the center, and again, it's still hiding all my mechanics, so that's about where I want this one. So it's about right here. Sorry if I get in my head in the way. So we're going to put this one about here. And you kind of want to make sure that your stuff in the center is flat. So if you're putting, you know, whatever kind of center you're putting in, that nothing is bulky. One more. So then this one is going to go about there. Oops, that's a little zip tie. The first one I was putting it together with the little 4-inch zip ties, and I'm like, oh no, I think I'm going to use my big zip ties. And then that will fit in nicely there. Okay. So just depending on what kind of center you're going to use, you know, how close you need. And then what did we do? We did this one over top of that, over top of that, that, and then this one will go that way. So they all kind of are laying all the same. You can kind of fluff them up. Oh, and that will look very pretty. So I got some wire here. We're going to try this. I don't know, I cut about 20-inch piece. So I think I kind of want to zigzag. I don't want to do it too much in these because I don't want them to really break off. But I want it to hold it. I want it to hold the center in good. And I'll go back around this way. Let's try that. And let's, whoopsie, it's coming undone. Gonna tighten it. We hope that's gonna work. Shed it a little. So then we're just gonna take our wire. We're gonna put our wire through. You probably want to make sure it goes through not the same holes in the back. So you have here, so I have it in a couple different. Still shedding a little. Okay, so then let's get this pulled down. Let's get that centered where we want it. And I think that's where we want it. Let's turn it over, don't bang it on the table. So we don't want to ruin the pine cone. Give it some good twists. Cut it off up here, and then what we can do is we can just stick those back in. And there we have it. Does that look like a little magnolia? Fluff it up a little. Like I said, you can, you know, pull these apart a little bit, give it a little fluff. It's not very thick. Like I said, it's only about 12 inches in diameter. It is about maybe 2 inches, 3 tops, but it's very thin. So, it, you know, if you have a nice dark door, this would look cute on your door. You can get some ribbon and hang it from your wreath form. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. In the comments, if there's something you would like to see me try to make, please leave a comment. Otherwise, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much.